yes, it is true that majority of Muslims of today, somehow do not accept the idea of evolution. We sort of, they think that evolution is a godless idea, it's an idea of atheists. I think one has to understand that one is the sort of scientific facts behind the development of species, and the other are the philosophical notions which are derived from the so-called theory of evolution. When you look at the pure factual side of it, you look at the fossil evidence, you look at the evolution of the universe, the birth and death of stars, the solar system, the birth of the planets, the geological formations, it stands out, it can no longer be doubted that these developed over eons of times, over millions and billions of years. It was a slow, gradual development. And that these developments, they are related to each other, you see. You may argue about the particular mechanism of the theory of evolution, but the fact that things are connected, they develop by stages, can no longer be doubted. And interestingly, we're not just talking of science. Many earlier Muslim philosophers and scientists, Rumi for example, or Ikhwan al-Safa, and there are a number of others who were believers in gradual step-by-step development. Rumi, for example, says that when I was a stone, I thought like this. When I was a plant, my feelings were like this. When I was in an animal stage, I was like that. And when I became human, then I became something different. So the concept of a gradual development and the concept of connection has been there in Islamic history, in Islamic thought. There's nothing new about it. And yet it is true that today's Muslims somehow do not accept this. Somehow they feel that it's a foreign notion. Looking at the Quran, I think Quran Kareem very interestingly talks of gradual development. It talks of eons of time. It says that one yom of yours may be equal to 1,000 years, or 10,000 years, or 50,000 years of your time. So it talks of relativity of time. It talks of long periods of time. It talks of gradual developments when it says tabakan an tabak, that life developed through stages. It talks at one place of Adam being created from dust or mud, and at other place it talks of all life being created from water. How do you reconcile these things? It is by looking at it as different stages of development. Once you do that, then there is no contradiction. Then it means that at one stage, all life developed from water. When you say dust, isn't that inanimate matter, lifeless matter? Dust is another expression of lifeless matter. So I think I see no conflict between the Quranic development in stages and the gradual development which the evolutionary theory talks about. And today, many Christian and Muslim scientists accept this, and this is known as theistic evolution. It simply says that that was the chosen method by the Creator, by Allah, by God, to create the system of things. It's not that these things appeared through a chutki, that is in a fraction of a second.
What about kun fayakun?
Yes, kun fayakun is there. Kun fayakun is, it means that he said it should be and it is. It doesn't mean immediate. It means the order is carried through. It will be done. Because in another way, when you talk of chutki, when you talk of this snapping of the fingers, you see, that is called chutki. That
when you talk of,
when Muslims talk of chutki, it's like snap of a finger, you see. And we think that that is something which happens immediately. But in scientific thinking today, we think that snapping of a finger or a chutki is a very, very long period in terms of some of the things which go on in the atomic or subatomic world, where we measure time in terms of 10 to the minus 43 seconds. When you think in those terms, then chutki is like billions of years. So all this is very relative. So the point here is that the important thing is that it is the Creator's design. The Creator will not do things the way we wish. He has His own way of doing things. And there is nothing wrong with accepting that it's a slow, gradual process, but it is an inexorable process. So the important thing, I think, which comes out of this debate is not the understanding of evolution, but whether it was by chance, as the atheists and skeptics maintain, with no design or purpose, or whether it was purposeful. That's the difference. And Quran is very clear on that all this development is gradual, but it is purposeful. It is following the Creator's design. And once you accept that, I think again everything falls in its place. There is no conflict there. And the second important difference is, which I touched on earlier, that in the Quranic way of thinking, it doesn't end with our material stage at the level of humanity. There is a further stage of development which the scientific materialist evolution doesn't accept. For them, death is the end. But for the Islamic Quranic way of thinking, that is not the end. That in a way is the beginning of the next stage. You continue development after death. So I think Quran and Islam has a richer, a much more comprehensive view of evolution. And when we knee-jerk reaction think that evolution is a Western idea, then I think we are doing injustice. And hence, I see really no conflict, and it is very much in line with the Creator's design.